Mr. Mark Mancebo, thank you for joining me today. Mind Body
Okay.
Business podcast should be a fun conversation. You said you were in New York. How long have you been in New York?
Predominantly my whole life. I grew up in Queens, New York, Jamaica, Queens to be exact.
Okay.
Uh, so yep, from there, and then from there I matriculated into New Jersey.
Okay.
Probably when I was around 8 years old. And yeah, and I kind of like bounced around from there. So I went to New York Military Academy
Oh
for
wow.
high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually went
Yeah.
there from the eighth grade. Yeah, so I went there from the eighth
Really.
grade. So that was an experience to say the least. But I met
Yeah.
some amazing people from that journey. Some of them
Yeah.
are still my, really close friends to this day, and also doing amazing things in their own respective fields that they're in as well. So that was an extremely enlightening journey, to say the
Yeah.
least, as well. But from
Yeah.
there, I went to Penn State University,
Okay.
and yeah, and I just kind of been just moving and grooving since then.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get into the business side of things, man. But how was that experience with the military academy?
Yeah, I think experience is definitely the operative word for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was great. As far as just learning from a very young age, as far as discipline, also leadership as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Something that I really liked about just how we had and pretty much handled things from that standpoint was that it was peer led. So
Okay.
since like I mentioned before, I got on when I was in the eighth grade. The very
Hmm.
next year, I was leading a squad, and then from
Okay.
there, I've held essentially other leadership roles. But from a very young age, you're really taught how to really lead and guide,
Yeah.
and also obviously the discipline aspect is
Yeah.
very much in attendance in that
Yeah.
experience as well. But yeah, so that was great, and it was actually out in Cornwall, New York. So it's like
Okay.
essentially right in Bear Mountain. So
Yeah.
we were essentially like the feeder school to
Uh-huh.
West Point.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So a lot of the graduates essentially matriculated into West Point, and also other military universities and things of that nature as well. But primarily, since we were so close to West Point, we were essentially a feeder school for them as well.
Did you serve?
No, no, I did not serve. I did not
Yeah.
serve. For me, I kind of felt like, since going in from the eighth grade, I kind of felt like I was a little militaried out, to be honest
Yeah.
with you, by the time I
Yeah.
graduated. But no,
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
have a ton of friends that served. I have family members as well. My best friend, he's a disabled veteran. He actually lives in Thailand right now. His name is David Sim.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I have a lot of friends, a lot of family that have served, and it's just tremendous respect for them for doing so. So I know,
Yeah.
from the outside looking in, how much work it really
Yeah.
is, and how much sacrifice that is, just to be able to do so yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Extremely honorable. I felt like when I was growing up, it kind of stayed in the back of my mind as like if all else fails, like this is what I'm going to do. And at some points, more than others, I think when I was like 18, 19, and even 20, just really kind of craving something with more structure. And then again, I kind of thought about it as, hey, they're going to pay me to work out. And I
Yeah,
and I thought that, and that's the smallest reason, but
for
hey,
sure.
I'm going to get paid to work out. So that's
Okay.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so that's kind of how I thought about it. But uh, you said you were militaried out by the end of it, but it sounded like you were talking about some really good benefits that you got
For sure.
from that. So where do you think that point was where you were like, I don't know if this is for me or not?
Totally, totally. I mean, for me, at that point in my life, I was really leaning more so towards like the creative
Hmm.
side. For
Yeah.
me, I back in my younger years, I used to be really heavily into music. So
Okay.
I
Yeah.
used to perform. I used to really do a whole lot. So that was kind of
Yeah.
essentially the dream at that standpoint. So like as
Mhm.
far as going into the military, that really wasn't like the focus really. Like for me, it was
Yeah.
really just becoming an artist. So
Mm.
so yeah. So that was really the primary thing. And then like for me, waking up, 5:45 every single morning, you know,
Yeah.
uh for inspections, square meals,
Sure.
those,
Yeah.
that could wear on you after like 5 years. It could
Yeah.
be a little,
But
especially if that's not really your primary,
right.
passion and goal and outcome. So
Sure.
so yeah, so totally.
Yeah, yeah, and I find like you were talking about creativity,
Yeah,
and I think that it's funny because I've played around with my schedule a lot and trying to get the most out of it and the most performance that I can out of myself on a day-to-day basis. And I was on a schedule, and I felt I'm a pilot, so I change time zones a lot. So it's hard to get back to like a 4 a.m. wake up call. But I was really consistently getting up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And the first thing I would do is go for a run. And I felt amazing. And I felt like by the time 5 a.m. came around, I had already accomplished more than people would in a day. Right.
for sure.
And so I felt so good about that. And I think that carried momentum through the rest of the day, where the creative side of me was able to fit within the structure that I had put around my creativity, you see. So it's like there can be the creativeness within the broader structure. What do you think about that as far as because now we're mixing masculine and feminine actions, right? Because creativity is typically a little bit more feminine, and that's you have to be in kind of a flow state and be able to let your thoughts flow freely and be in a place where there's really no walls and limits. But at the end of the day, there has to be some accomplishment. And that's where the masculine drive comes in. And we're trying to get things done step by step. So how does that really play out in your life and what you're doing right now?
For sure. And I think that's kind of really that stems from, just my experience with military school. For me now,
Yeah.
well, at that time when I was going through it, I used to really like, I guess, because when we don't necessarily like to be told to do certain
Right.
things, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
sure.
at
Yeah.
that time, being told I have to wake up at 5:45
Hmm.
and I gotta do this and I have to do
Yeah.
that. Like, and at that stage, especially when you're younger as well, you're more
Yeah.
so in a rebellious kind of
Oh,
mindset. You
yeah.
kind of want to just do
Yeah.
things on your own. So that's
Yeah.
why for me, I kind of veered a little bit away from the military side.
Yeah.
But because, I feel like that there was such a huge impact in my life, especially since, like I made mention before, I went in from the 8th grade, so it was a huge impact. So even now, I'm leveraging so many things that I've learned. Like even for me now, I
Hmm.
am waking up at 5:45 in the morning, or even
Yeah.
sometimes even earlier. And I'm doing my own form of PT, which is physical
Yeah.
training. So
Yeah.
I'm heavily into fitness and taking care of myself, and
Yeah.
essentially taking that time for myself prior to me
Hmm.
even starting my day.
Yeah.
So taking that aspect of, military school
Hmm.
and, before, like, as you mentioned before even 8 o'clock rolls around, 9 o'clock rolls around, you
Yeah.
essentially feel like you have a full day, you know,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
also you pour it into yourself, which
Yeah.
is very important. And especially,
Yeah.
if you're a business owner and if you're just a high achiever and high performer,
Yeah.
you could get essentially lost in the sauce and just lost in the day to
Hmm.
day. And
Yeah.
if you're not, being very diligent with your time and how you
Yeah.
spend your time, you
Hmm.
could, essentially just put yourself on the back burner. And
Yeah.
you know how that works sometimes. If you just essentially just doing, you could essentially just burn yourself out. So it's very
Yeah.
important to pour into yourself. So I think more so from, just being a younger person at that time and just
Hmm.
like I just wasn't in the space of I want to be continually having someone, even though I held, like I
Right.
mentioned before, I've held pretty much my whole tenure at military school.
Mm.
I pretty much
Yeah.
held rank, so I wasn't necessarily being told what to do, but the
Hmm.
program essentially,
Right. Yeah, yeah,
you have to abide by, the rules, so to speak. So
yeah,
yeah, so I think just the younger me was just in a different space.
yeah,
So hence the direction I took. But as of right now, especially being an entrepreneur, I'm definitely leveraging a lot of those things that I've learned, and that was essentially drilled into me from
mm,
a very young age. I'm leveraging
yeah,
that now, and I'm seeing great results from that for sure.
yeah, yeah. I can see it in the the way that you hold yourself and that you speak. That's incredible.
Thank you.
And so what did that transition look like though, getting out of military school and deciding that you wanted to go do something else? What did you step into right afterwards?
So I went to Penn State. So it was
Okay.
actually a pretty crazy transition to say the least,
Yeah.
because at the time, you could statistically look back at the time, back in oh man, I'm really dating myself now. But back in '09, I graduated in '09. So back in '09, Penn State was actually labeled the number one party school
No
in the
way.
nation. Yeah.
No way.
It
No
was
way. I think isn't it like West Virginia now or something like that? I
I
think it's
have no
West
clue.
Virginia. Yeah.
I'm like,
My,
I'm so far removed, so I'm not too sure. But I
yeah, yeah.
know at that time when I was graduating, I was definitely looking up those those stats.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah.
that not necessarily saying that that was one of the primary reasons why I went to Penn State. Obviously, Penn State is a very reputable and
Yeah.
great university.
Yeah.
And then also as well, a lot of my previous peers that I went to school with, they matriculated into Penn State. So it was for me, it was more so an easier transition because
Yeah.
I have a couple of my friends that the year before I graduated, they're out there. And also a few of my friends that I'm graduating with currently as well. They're also matriculating into Penn State as well. So it was like, it was kind of like an easier transition, and
Yeah.
plus, they have a great curriculum out there. So yeah, so it was kind of like a huge culture shock, to be
Yeah.
honest with you,
Yeah.
going
Absolutely.
from like 100%, military school, and it was a
Hmm.
dormitory, so it's not like I was like leaving after a certain time and to go home. Like I lived
Hmm.
on campus from the eighth grade
Yeah.
until I graduated. So
Wow.
I essentially, I was living there. So to
Yeah.
be a part of that culture essentially from a very young age, and now going essentially into the number one party school in the
Right.
nation was
Yeah.
a very huge cultural shift.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Uh,
so it was definitely that for sure.
how'd you adopt? I'm sure there was so many things that they taught you in military school that
Yeah.
went right out the window when you step foot in that place, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so my cousin went to West Virginia University and
Yeah.
it was a huge party school. And I think it took him like 5 years to graduate because I think he spent the first 2 semesters just drinking beer. That was all that he did was drink beer the first year. That was, yeah, it's kind of mind blowing. So for me, I had a different childhood as well, and
Okay.
going through school, I was actually pulled out of high school within the first 2 months of me being there,
Wow.
and I was getting into so much trouble, and I kind of had a culture shock as well. So I grew up in Georgia, and I did elementary and middle school in Georgia, and so it was very Southern Bible Belt. Then we moved back to Florida. Florida is a whole nother kind of animal, and people are a little bit more willing to do things that other states aren't willing to do. And so, anyways, when I came to Florida, it was a huge culture shock again for me. And I was born here, but we moved away, and so I kind of grew up in northwestern Georgia, and and then when we moved back, it was like beach town, and everybody's doing this and they're doing that, and I was just like a kid in a candy shop. I was like, holy cow, look at all this stuff. Look at all these things I can do, all this trouble that I can get into. And, kind of going back towards, into the authority topic and
And
evading authority. I mean, if somebody told me to lay down, I'd stand up. If they told me to jump, I'd sit. If they told me to sit, I was running. And
mhm.
it was crazy. I had an interesting dealing with that authority. I had an interesting journey with that. And they ended up taking me directly out of school, and I ended up going to different boarding schools around the country. And so I was, 14 years old, living in the woods for like 2, 3 months at a time. And it was just a really interesting time. I got to learn a lot. But yeah, I think that, how you were raised and the prior to 18 or even prior to 21, those years are huge in crafting your future and
Totally.
and establishing, sort of motivation for whatever it is that you're going to do. So kind of getting back to you, it kind of went off topic there, but
Nah,
um
dude.
yeah,
We're
so
more aligned. We're very aligned,
yeah.
man. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It was a crazy time, but so how did you deal with some of that culture shock getting into Penn State? And I mean, I'm sure there was some partying and beer drinking that happened at that point. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, it's essentially like mandatory to be real with you. But
yeah,
nah, but but
yeah.
but to be honest, so what really helped, as mentioned, what I mentioned before, right, is that I had some of my peers that were there a year before I was there. So
Mm,
when I got on campus, they really showed us the ropes. They kind of like
yeah,
took us around. They kind of just really just put us onto different things and like,
right,
hey.
right.
So it was an easier transition
Hmm.
for me, but it was still a huge culture shock, dude. Like
Yeah,
I'm all right. So I'm gonna keep it 100 right now. So it's like for me. So this is gonna be like, say for instance, right, for those that went into the military school and these type of
yeah,
things, and they go to like college. So for me, this is how culture shocked I was. I'm obviously in military school. Fraternization and stuff like that is definitely frowned upon, right?
hmm
And that you can't essentially, be in another girl's room and things of that nature. Man, I was so. What is the proper wording I'm looking for? I was so conditioned in that frame of mind. So when we went to not military school, but just at Penn State, we're hanging in girls' rooms. I'm like looking around. I'm thinking like an RA is gonna bust in. Like, you guys can't
yeah,
be in
right,
here.
right. You're
I'm
like
like,
traumatized almost.
like I'm
Yeah,
like, yo,
yeah,
dog, are we gonna get like demerits or something? And but that I
yeah,
but I knew that that wasn't the case. But it was just my subconscious mind was
right.
just like that, ringing
Yeah,
that essential alarm.
yeah,
But so but those things, what I mean, as far as just having, just an older group that was there prior to myself, that were there to help kind of ease in the transition. That really
hmm
helped me
yeah,
tremendously, for sure.
yeah. Yeah, amazing. And so when you got out of there, what did you end up getting into when you got out of college?
Dude, sales. So
Okay.
so so, bro, there's so many different forms of sales. I've worked in retail. I
Yeah.
sold shoes.
Okay.
I sold office space. I
Mm.
sold insurance.
Yeah.
I did door-to-door sales, so I was selling
Wow.
Verizon for a
Oh
little
wow.
bit in the hood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I used to
Yeah.
go out
Oh
to Coney Island and go and sell door-to-door Verizon, and but
yeah.
that career was very short-lived. But I
Yeah.
did it.
What? Okay.
And then from there, I matriculated into software. I did robotics. I sold robots for a little bit,
Wow.
and then went
Yeah.
into selling software, and then now I'm an entrepreneur. But
Yeah.
so essentially, I just have a very long career of just selling, building partnerships, building relationships,
Yeah.
and customer facing things of that nature.
Yeah, that's huge. And the sales skill, I mean, life is sales.
Yeah,
And
totally.
being able to position yourself in the market correctly, and not even just your product, but you as a person, right? It's the whole
Yeah,
personal brand thing.
totally.
So you're essentially selling yourself, your personality, and your work ethic, or whatever it is, constantly.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest thing that you learned in specifically door to door sales? Because that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, man, yeah, like just plowing through. You know what I mean? Every
Yeah.
no is you're closer to a yes.
Yeah.
Keep
Right.
keep going, building thick skin.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you've never done it before,
Right.
it could be
Right.
very, very. I'm telling you, it's very rugged. But for my younger self to go through that experience, I felt like that was very much needed.
Yeah.
Because for me, doing sales, cold calling, things of that nature, that's tough, that's difficult. But going, door to door, people, cursing you out for real in your face, over the
Yeah.
phone is
Right.
different. You know what I mean? You could just hang
Right.
up.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, you could
Yeah.
just
But
hang up the phone. But when
yeah, you
you're
hear
like,
the you're like, oh,
yeah, I'm just trying to,
I swear.
I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
hey, I'm just here. I'm
But
behind Verizon. I mean, I'm just
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, so it's a different level, right? Of
Yeah.
interaction. It's a different level of sale. And you have to really bring out that killer instinct, and as far as your
Mhm.
personality, and be very personable. And so
Yeah.
it's like, and quick in a hurry,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
especially you go into someone's house, they're not going to let you ramble on, or you got to let me know why you here, and let me know why you here fast.
Right. Yeah.
And make it make sense. And make
Yeah.
it make
Right.
a lot
Right.
of sense.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so there goes that you going into your elevator pitch, you're building
Sure.
rapport, and you're sharing all of that within like 15 to 30 seconds.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so for sure, so that was definitely a huge learning experience for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Let's. I hate to put you on the spot, man, but give me the LatAm Partners elevator pitch real quick. 30 seconds before I
For
load my
sure,
shotgun.
for sure. 100%. So Latam Talent Partners is a premier nearshore recruitment agency where we provide nearshore talent to startups and enterprise companies from around the globe.
Okay.
So we specialize essentially from the C-suite level, think your CTOs, CFOs, CEOs, even your CEOs, all to your entry level developers. And
Wow.
we're very tailored in our approach. We have a little over 15 recruiters, so we don't only
Okay.
specialize in one country, but
Yeah.
all throughout Latin America as well. So we're very
Interesting.
tailored in our approach.
Yeah. Are you guys targeting mostly startups at this point?
For the most part, yeah, because I mean, we target all companies for the most part. We
Yeah.
fit in and with all majority of companies, but
Yeah.
from a startup standpoint, we are a really really great fit. More so because of the for the pricing standpoint, and also cultural alignment and time zone alignment as well. So if you're a startup and you're essentially either bootstrapped or just received funding,
Mm-hmm.
we're a great option,
Yeah.
because as you may know, technical talent is not cheap, especially
No.
locally. Even from an
Yeah.
entry level standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get essentially for the price of one person, you can get three people. That
Right.
could really help build out your team, especially if you're just starting off and you're
Yeah.
just really acclimating yourself to the market.
Yeah.
That could be very beneficial if you're a startup.
Yeah.
So yeah, so totally. And then also as well, and I definitely want to plug this in as well. Aside from the nearshore side, we do local recruitment as well. So we do have partnerships with different universities,
Mm.
and that we're able to gain as far as also graduate programs as well. If you're looking for executives and you're looking for even entry level, candidates that are local as well, we also have a database of candidates as well. So we're very flexible. Whether if you're looking
Yeah.
for local talent or nearshore talent, we're able to facilitate.
Awesome. Awesome. How did you get into that?
Very good question. So I have one of my good friends. Her name is Betiana Prado. So
Mm.
she's been in nearshore recruitment for a little over 10 years.
Okay.
So she's my co-founder. She
Mm.
runs the recruitment side of the business. Obviously, I run the sales and partnership side of the
Yeah.
business. So
Yeah.
she's been doing this for a very long time, and we reconnected last year. And me knowing that she's a technical recruiter, and me having, technical sales background, and me being
Mm-hmm.
displaced at the time,
Yeah.
I floated her my resume. And I was like, hey, listen, here's my resume. If anything comes around, definitely,
Yeah.
look out. And she
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
and she responded back, and she gave me a response I definitely wasn't anticipating. She was like, Mark, what are you doing, dude? Like, you don't need a job. Me and you need to partner and
Mm.
do something together. Because she
Yeah.
knows my sales background, she knows
Yeah.
like my acumen, and she was like, you know what? I think it would be better suited for you and me just to partner and do something.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I thought she was capping.
Yeah. Right.
I
Well,
didn't
that's
think
all.
she was being 100% serious, but she was dead serious. And then, like for
Mm,
me, one of my big questions is because I've have like as far as family members and also my parents, they ran a recruitment agency as well in the past called
okay.
Selective Staffing. So I've
Okay.
always had it in my mind to even create, as far as being an entrepreneur within the recruitment space.
Yeah.
So, but I've never heard of nearshore recruitment prior to, me and her talking. And she kind of broke it down to me. And I'm like, this is brilliant. This
Yeah.
is just amazing, and it makes total sense.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's do it. And especially
Yeah.
for me, I'm Cuban as well. I'm half Cuban, half
Mm,
Jamaican. So as
okay.
far as like bringing opportunities to Latin America, I'm like, let's go, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
so we've been rocking and rolling ever since, man. So it's been a very unique journey.
Yeah.
And essentially I mean, she recruited me, so
Right.
that it just goes
Right.
to show how good of a recruiter she is, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
just
Yeah.
to say, but yeah, no, dude. So that's kind of how everything kind of came together.
Yeah. That's awesome. How long has this been going on?
Close to a year, a little over a year.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, man.
And how big are you guys right now? And are you planning on growing?
Oh, for sure, dude. So we're a little close to like 15 deep. We have, like I
Okay.
mentioned, we have, well, externally we have as far as recruiters, but as far
Yeah.
as like team members, we just onboarded our director of global strategic relationships. His name
Okay.
is Michael Jordan. Oh no, crazy enough, man. His name is Michael Jordan. He's 6'6". He has a bald
Oh,
head. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
It's the
So
guy.
he's Michael
Yeah.
Jordan for real. And he's
Yeah.
also a VC partner. So he's really going to be helping us as far as really breaking into the VC market, because that's essentially where we see ourselves being the greatest fit as well. Because, VCs, they have a portfolio of startups, right? And they're
Yeah.
constantly, providing funding for them. So,
Yeah.
obviously, as you know, their immediate thought process when a company receives funding is to build and scale out. So
Right.
he's going to really be able to help us as far as partner with different VC firms globally, and really
Mm,
move that initiative, so to
yeah.
speak, as well. So we just essentially onboarded him last week. And then also his wife Cynthia, she's an account executive of ours that got onboarded last week as well. So
Mm,
it's like a family affair. So
yeah.
so they're really going to be helping us booster our sales, and on a global standpoint. And then we also have, other salespeople as well. Like I have my guy Michael Sabri. He's out in Egypt,
Wow.
so so he speaks English and also Arabic as well. So
Okay.
he handles our UAE
Hmm.
sector. Obviously, the UAE, they have a huge, well, as of right now, they're really growing heavily within the tech space and startups and
Yeah.
things of that nature. So he's really pioneering that space as well. And also we have Jessica, so she's handling also growth and partnerships within Latin America and also in North America as well.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we're very balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for a very short time of us being launched, we've grown very exponentially, and it's not
That's
like
awesome.
too fast. It's like just right. So it's
Yeah.
like we have
Yeah.
a very tight knit group,
Yeah.
and everyone is like super superstars. So just
Yeah.
very blessed
That's
to
awesome.
have them on board for sure.
That's awesome. What do those marketing strategies look like for you guys? How are you getting your face out there?
Totally, totally. I mean, this is one of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
for
Yep.
sure. So doing engagements like this. Also, we do have a solid marketing team as well, where we put out different content.
Mm,
Also as well. I'm looking to do a lot more, just even personalized videos, and
yeah.
kind of just really educating people on
Yeah.
and around nearshore talent.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, right, even when I'm talking to people within the tech space now, when they think about outsourcing tech talent, for the most part, they're automatically thinking about, Asia. They're
Hmm.
thinking
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
India, they're thinking about, even Pakistan, Thailand,
Right.
the Philippines, places essentially halfway across the world,
Right.
and not realizing that we have such like a gold mine essentially of
Yeah.
talent essentially in our backyard. So
Right.
just really wanting to create more, personalized videos, just educating those that are in the startup space or just in the tech space in general,
Yeah.
that hey, you have other options as well,
Yeah.
that could really make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. That's incredible. If you were to put a hard goal for the business in the next 12 months, what would you say that would be?
Hard goal. Um,
Yeah.
a hard goal would be, we are building out a lot of different strategic partnerships, but
Mm,
I want us to really be known outside of just from the startup standpoint of being a great strategic partner. I want us to be well known as being a great strategic partner for VCs as well, and
yeah.
for those that have portfolio companies that are constantly giving out funding, and to be able to be a great strategic partner with them
Mm,
and also the companies that they serve. So really building that initiative out tremendously, and from a global standpoint.
yeah.
So that's really the mission. Just really building out our global presence, and I feel the quickest way for us to do so is to align ourselves with VCs that have, a huge portfolio of
Right.
different startups that they're leveraging, and just really being a huge value add to their workflow and their cycle as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you guys are looking at recruiting and especially in the C-suite,
Yes.
what qualities in these people
Oh,
are you looking for?
for sure. From the C-suite level, they have to obviously have led, and
Yeah.
also have, the specific criterias as well. So we have, say, for instance, right, and a lot of this is really more so incumbent off of our client. So our client, right, if they're looking for C-suite level talent, they
Mm,
have an idea. They know
yeah.
exactly what they're looking for. They have the
Right.
the metrics, the qualifications, the
Mm,
certifications, if need be, and we essentially just take that. No need to essentially reinvent the wheel. And then we have such a huge database, of talent from a local and also nearshore standpoint, for through just essentially just pass that JD, that job description, which we generate from our client, pass them along to our recruiters, and we provide all of the sourcing and everything on our end, and
yeah.
we provide a quick short list. But yeah, so we're very hands on the approach as far as creating the job description with the client and seeing
Yeah.
what level in particular, because not one person essentially looks at, as far as a C-suite level the same. Some people want,
Sure.
I need this person to have this, I need this person to have that, this, that, and the
Mhm.
third. We really tailor our approach every single time when it comes to, especially when it comes to providing C-suite level talent.